Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey. In this lecture we're going to learn all about refactoring. Okay, so before we learn some more programming syntax, let's cover some very important theory. One of the types of comments that I get most often is basically beginners asking me, how do I memorize all the code and write everything perfectly the first time? And the simple answer is I don't. What you see in a video like this course, what you see is really after I've done tons of research and written, and most importantly, rewritten a ton of code. This is one of the crucial things that separates beginners from intermediates. Beginners think that when the code is written, that's it, it's written forever and will never change, so you have to get it right on the first time. Whereas intermediate programmers, they know that code is a semi-living thing that is constantly changing as your game or your program changes and progresses. Refactoring, which is the term for rewriting code or simply reorganizing it, that one is a perfectly natural part of the process. A very simple process is simply when you first try to build some kind of system, like for example making a health system, at first your primary goal should be simply to get it working. You should obviously try to write some good clean code, but it's nearly impossible to get it perfectly on the first try, so the first goal is just get it working. And now here's the really important step that separates beginners from intermediates. After you get the system working, then look at it, analyze the code, and see if it could be written in a better way. Perhaps there's some variables that could have a better name. Perhaps there are some functions that are clearly doing too many things and should be split into multiple smaller functions. Perhaps you have a whole bunch of data separated that should make more sense being placed in its own custom class. So the first step is indeed just get it working, but then don't forget the second step. That one is how to get it working properly. Remember that your code is a living thing. You won't continue living and working with that code, especially as you start to make bigger and more complex projects. So since you're going to use and reuse that code in the future, make sure you write it properly. It is perfectly okay to write semi-dirty code on the first time. What is not okay is to leave it dirty. So when it is working, take some time to do some refactoring if needed. So if you are a beginner about to transition into the intermediate stage, I want you to truly learn and fully internalize this. It is perfectly fine. In fact, it's essential to rewrite code. You are not expected to write everything perfect on the first try, but you are expected to constantly be thinking about how the code could be improved, and if you do find some possible improvement, take some time and refactor that code. Always keep that in mind, especially as we go through this intermediate section, which naturally will increase in complexity compared to beginner section. So keep that in mind, and let's go to the next lecture and learn about enums.